Hello, world, and welcome to another fantastic no-brainer show. I'm Zach, the GOAT, and I need to apologize right up front because it may sound a little different tonight. My house took a power surge the other night and blew my board out, so I don't have my mic, and I'm using Bluetooth headphones. I can't hear myself, so maybe I'm shouting, maybe I'm not. I don't know, so I'm apologizing in advance. But anyway, that's my problem tonight. And I found out I'm getting it repaired. It'll be fixed this week. So next week we'll be back to normal. Let me introduce you guys to my illustrious co-hostess with the mostest, the donkey. D-Rex, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
I'm just
Why is
enjoying life as a hostess, man.
why is your camera so high? All I see is your freaking forehead. Bring your camera
My whole
down.
face is there.
Look. I want to see your pretty smile. Bring your camera down because I don't see you on a regular basis. Thank you, my brother. Welcome to the world of. You might get picked up as a model or something. Maybe, maybe not. But listen, we got a fantastic show for you guys tonight. We have a super fantastic guest coming in live all the way from, I don't know. She's going to tell us her name's Christine Blosdale. Hi,
Yes.
Christine.
Hello, boys. Wow, applause and everything. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we do it right here at No Brainer Show.
I love it.
NoBrainerShow.com. Yeah. So, surprise me. Where are you calling? Where are you coming to us live from?
I am coming to you live from New South Wales, Australia, about
Yes.
2 hours from Sydney. So, yes, and it's tomorrow.
You are.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow already. Yeah,
And
yeah. It's
yes,
Friday.
and we're still here. The planet is still here.
You got paid. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's payday. So let me ask you, or let me think, Derek, is this our first out of the country guest?
Defer, don't remember.
I don't either. I know our first guest was from Africa, but he was in Miami. That's kind of out of the country because that's North Cuba.
Yes.
And we're in Orlando, so we're the capital of Puerto Rico.
But you
And
are.
then there's
You're based in Florida. Oh, that's why the hat. I see.
yes. It's funny. I am not a superstitious guy. I was in radio for a long time, and I had a specific hat that that nobody could see it. I was on air, but I wore the same hat every time I did the show. And I've now every once in a while you'll see me change my hat out, but I normally wear this hat for every show. And people they ask me if that's like a superstitious thing, and it's really it's not. It's just it's like my trademark. So
I
but
understand the
yes,
whole hat thing. I understand the whole hat thing with the yes, because the lighting, you want to protect your little eyeballs. I
well,
understand that
that
100%.
and I have no hair, and it's very shiny, and it would be blinding. I'd be blinding you guys. Christine, so what? Obviously, you're not from down under, I can tell. So where
No.
are you originally from?
I am originally from the City of Angels, Los Angeles. Grew up during a time it was really hip to be there. So I've been
California girl.
yeah, Southern California, and moved around Southern California, so a little bit in San Diego, a little bit in Ventura, but really Los Angeles was my stomping ground for a long time. And now I am here. I've been here about 60 years, and I just became a citizen last year. So
Awesome. That's
I'm an
very
Aussie.
cool.
I'm an Aussie American.
There you go. We a funny story. I actually in 1988 um went out to a good friend of mine's graduation from high school, and she lived in right near San Luis Obispo,
That's lovely.
and I fell in love with it and was like I stayed out there for 2 weeks. Her parents were ready to let me live in the garage. Her dad was going to get me a job. He knew the sheriff and knew some other people. He was trying to get me a job, and I got homesick and chickened out. Or I would be a Cali boy, but I'm a Jersey boy, and it
Oh,
was tough to go to the West Coast. It was,
yeah.
but I've been there. I love California. I've driven the Pacific Coast Highway from, I guess, the bottom to, it's not Tijuana, but right there, all the way to the top. And I will say, in my
Beautiful.
opinion,
Yeah.
California is 3 different states.
It is. It's the
There's
size.
southern,
Yes.
central, and northern. Totally different people, totally different vibes.
And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. People don't realize how big Southern California is, let alone California. Southern California, which is like Los Angeles County, let's say, and Ventura County, all that. Southern California, comparative to Australia, the entire country of Australia, the population in the entire country is less than the population in Southern California. So that tells
Well,
you something.
then I guess Australia can't compete with my beloved next door neighbor, New York, because New York City's got
New York is New York is
19
amazing.
million or whatever it is. Yeah,
New York,
it's a little different now.
it's
A
the
little
best. I
different.
think both coasts are. I think West Coast and East Coast are. Thank God that we have the East Coast and the West Coast, not only for like amazing culture and food and all that great stuff, and the arts and entertainment, which I think is amazing, but it's nothing like New York. There's nothing like the East Coast when it comes to food, when it comes to people as well. Like people are really original. They are who they are. On the West
Yes.
Coast, it can be a little bit like I wrote a screenplay, somebody tried to make
Yeah.
it in Hollywood. But on the East Coast, man, if you meet somebody who's a bagel maker, they're the best damn bagel maker you've ever met.
Yes. Yes. I would agree. And the one thing
Authentic.
now, this is very funny. Um, I grew up in Jersey, so of course I'm very, very pro Jersey pizza. I always say it's the best, but New York's got some great pizza too. But I grew up in the 80s, so I was a New York metalhead, but I was a West Coast rap guy. I liked West Coast rap better than I liked East Coast rap. It was, to me, it was a different vibe. It was so much fun. I mean, I had some
The
favorite,
80s were good.
yeah. I mean, when we used to go into the city to go see, Anthrax, and Public Enemy would open up for them, and so it was just such a crazy time to grow up. I mean, it was. Derek, you wouldn't know anything about it because you're just a baby. But the '80s in New York City, I remember when Mayor Giuliani took over and how the city got cleaned up because like you didn't walk around certain sections of New York when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
We used to go into the city for the Thanksgiving Day parade, and I loved going into at Christmas time to see the decorations. But you didn't go outside that bubble because if you did, you weren't in a neighborhood you wanted to be in. And
Right.
I'm sure that's the way. So in '84, I was in Los Angeles. My parents were school teachers, and we happened to be there when the '84 Olympics were there. We were camping, and we were down. I guess it was at the Coliseum. They had the Olympics.
Oh, it's rough there. It's still rough there. It's always been rough there.
Yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
told us go into the stadium, go to your car, and go home. They're like, don't walk around.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rough there. Around USC in general too. That whole area can be a bit rough and very territorial with with gangs and such. You just got to
Yes.
know where to go. I left Los Angeles like as soon as when I wanted to go to college, when I graduated school, I wanted to go to university, and I didn't want to stay in Los Angeles because I've been there for so long. I went to San Diego, and San Diego was fun. In the 80s, San Diego, the water was warm. You could hop into, if you wanted to go to Mexico, you could go to Tijuana. It wasn't like it is now. It wasn't super, super scary. So I loved being in San Diego. That was cool.
I actually went to boot camp in San Diego.
Did you?
And yeah, I went to boot camp and high school in San Diego at Port Hueneme. And I remember that it never changed. It was 70 degrees all the time. The weather was flawless. I mean, you guys have earthquakes there. We have hurricanes. I don't know which one I prefer. I don't like either of them, but everywhere in America we got all kind of storms. Now,
Yeah.
you're in Australia.
Yes.
You guys got some crazy ass bugs,
Yes, we do. But
like
they're not.
spiders the size of
Yes,
babies.
they're not inside your house necessarily, unless you're aware of those things. You're aware of those things. You don't put like your shoes outside and then just put them on when like if you're going, oh, I want to go somewhere, and you don't just you check and make sure there's nothing in there. I was afraid when I first came because I thought it's going to be snakes and spiders and you know I don't like snakes. I don't like reptiles. But here I haven't encountered that much. I haven't really encountered that many dangerous animals like that. I have this weird fear of frogs, and there
Really?
are frogs that are around us in certain times of the year, and they come around where there's water. So yeah, I don't like frogs. I'm more terrified of the frogs than than the snakes or the spiders.
We have frogs here in Florida, and my dogs like to chase them.
Ooh,
But you can't let them get them because if they eat them, they're poisonous.
they're poisonous. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So we keep them away. The only thing we have spiders and roaches down here that bother me. The snakes, 90% of the snakes in Florida that I've seen are black snakes, and they're harmless. They don't bother me. They usually are scared. And everybody always has to ask me, like, well, what about the alligators?
Yeah. What about them?
They're everywhere.
They
If
are.
there's a body of water, they're in it.
See, yeah, no, yeah.
But they're more scared of you than you are of them. Unless, of course, it's mating season and you run into a bull or you run into a mama with babies. Then they're very
Well, how do you
territorial.
know? How are you going to check on that? How do you
Well, you
check?
just
You
see a
ask
gator and
them?
walk the other
Yeah,
way.
you just
Yeah,
ask them.
You said, is it mating season or are you a mama?
yeah. No, you just keep away from them. That's all. What brought you to Australia? Besides, I know 747.
My wife found me on Instagram several years ago. She found me on Instagram scrolling and she was like, "Oh, who's this?" And she stalked me for a while and then inboxed me and I was like, "Oh, cool lady. What are you who are you?" And she showed me a picture of the beach and I was like, "Oh, wow. She must be in Florida because I'm in Southern California." And I think, "Oh, she must be in Florida or something because somewhere tropical looking." And then I was like, "No, maybe it's Hawaii." And I was all real excited because I love Hawaii. I was like, "Yeah, Maui, babe." And then she's like, "No, Australia." And I was like, "That's 7,000 miles away. That's crazy."
That's like a long distance relationship.
Yeah, and we did have a long distance relationship for 6 months. We talked. It was actually I highly recommend it for relationships and for marriages because 6 months, you don't get distracted with too many things. You're getting to know and like that person. And you're going through all of your little traumas and your triggers and your all that stuff it comes up. So you get to know each other really, really well. And then you get to be together and go, yeah, fireworks, right?
Yeah,
But
I
6
actually did
months is a long time. Yeah.
I did the complete opposite. I met my wife. We talked via email and then texting for about 3 or 4 days. Went on our first date, and within almost 4 months to the day, we were married.
That's quick. But are you still with her?
Yeah, 15 years.
Okay. And you still like her?
She's my best friend.
There you go. Okay. There
Yeah,
you go. That worked
yeah,
out well.
yeah. Well, here's the interesting side effect of it. Both my wife and I are adopted, which everybody goes, "Well, how do you know you're not brother and sister?" We're not. Okay, she's from Iowa, I'm from Jersey. It's not. And her mom was a little bit older than. No, she was younger than my mom. So anyway, we're not related. And but adopted people, there's something certain interesting about us. No matter how great our parents were, and I had the greatest parents on the planet, hands down. You always still have a little hole.
Of
You always have that
course.
like that why, and nobody understands it. So she understood it, and I mean, that was our mesh. And
Yeah.
we adopted one of our kids. We have between the two of us, we have 6 kids, but one of them we adopted, and because we wanted to help someone, kind of like they helped us.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
help somebody else. So yeah,
You
so
are so
that's where.
right. You are so right. And you know what? And you give major props to your parents, for taking you in and for loving you and supporting you and all of that stuff. But I could see where there would always be that hole, that issue, that feeling of abandonment,
Yeah,
at such a
like why
young
why did
age.
yeah, the question I
Yeah.
had as a kid, I was adopted as a baby, but when I figured it out and started able to figure it out in my mind, the always question was, why didn't they want me?
Of course.
And
Yeah.
later on in life, you find out it wasn't the mom, it was her mom who's like, no, 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 you're not. In 1968, being a single mother pregnant is a no, no. So she was hidden, had the
Yeah.
baby immediately. She never even got to hold me, just took her, the baby was gone.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So,
Did you
yeah,
ever
then that's a
reunite with her? Did you ever to meet her?
sad story. And I talked to my parents and said, look, it was 95. I said, I'd like to find out where I'm from. I have kids. My daughter was just born. I want to know, A, if there's anything in my medical history that I need to worry about.
Yeah.
And B, I'd like to know where I came from. I'd like to see where I got this. me, who I am. And she had actually died in 93 from cancer. So I just missed her by, 2 years. I've got two younger brothers. I've got cousins and stuff. We've, we've talked, we met each other all via ancestry.
Mm.
But the great thing is my wife actually met her mom on ancestry, and she was still living in Iowa where my wife was from. But she said, "Hey, I'm in the middle of moving, and we're moving to this town in Florida called St. Cloud. Have you heard of it?" And we're like, "It's 40 minutes down the road." So
Whoa.
we become friends. My wife still doesn't call her mom. She won't. She has a mom, but she's still they're still And it's really cool to see her, to talk to her, because I'll watch their mannerism and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
that's crazy. Yeah. So I didn't get to meet mine. And when in '68, you didn't have to have a father's signature on the birth certificate, so I don't know. We've never known who my dad was, and nothing's popped up from a DNA check. So
Wow. But you did get to you got to reunite with your siblings, so to speak,
so
right?
my brother, my half brothers are like 14 and 16 years younger than me.
Wow.
They were, from what my cousin or my uncle, which is my mom's brother, said, it's not they're not ready to meet anybody yet. Maybe someday. They know who I am. They've seen pictures. I look just like my grandfather. I've seen pictures of my family on that side, and they're okay with it, but they're maybe someday.
You
It is
never
what it
know.
is.
Yeah, you never know.
Look, I'm 57. I've gone this long in life without it, so it is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Enough about. I mean, we could do a whole story on that, but tell us, what do you do?
What do I do? What do I do?
Yes, what do you do other than hang out in Australia, where it's kind of cool?
Yes. Well, and I start my day quite early because I have most of my clients are in the United States. They're on the East Coast and West Coast, but I get to help overwhelmed business owners, entrepreneurs, authors, speakers. I get to help them work on their branding and their messaging, and I help them get seen, I help them get trusted, and I help them get paid for what they already know. All that good stuff that they've already got underneath in their brain, all the experience and expertise they have, I help get them seen, trusted, and paid.
So one of the reasons I was excited to have you on the show, because you are the authority expert coach,
The expert authority coach.
expert authority coach. I'm
Yes.
dyslexic. Deal with it. No, I'm just kidding. One of my things that in my podcasting world, and I'm moving more into a coaching side and a speaking side, is I like to teach on authenticity and authority. Knowing your authority, but you have to be authentic about it. And that was
Absolutely.
exciting. I said, I bet you and I got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, because that's the golden ticket right there. Authenticity. People ask me, like, they'll say, how do I how do I create expert authority with what I've been doing? And I say, well, there's a couple different ways we can look at it. The things that you've done. We're gonna pull those gems out and put them on your crown. But also, it is about that authenticity. We as a species right now are craving honesty. We're craving truth. We're craving not just to be relatable to others, but to see that authenticity and to be able to trust someone. We see it all around us. It's all falling apart, right? We look in politics. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a blue suit or a red suit. You can't, as soon as they start talking, you're like, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. We
Mhm.
see it happening with celebrities, Hollywood. I mean, it's a whole weird freaking can of icky, dark worms. And so we are craving truth and honesty and goodness.
That's beautiful.
That's the truth. So if you can actually just shine and be your authentic self and put it out there, you will magnetize, you will bring in those people. And not to be woo woo, but we all have an energy, we all have a vibe, we all have a bat signal, and we just want to make sure that that bat signal is sending out the right message.
Yes. Yeah. I saw that, and I agree with you 100%. The way the news is today, celebrities, politicians. So prior to this show, Derek and I were on another podcast, a political podcast, and we promised the host of it we would help him till the election because both of us hate politics. The funny thing is, when my friend and I started the show, we came up with I went with the crazy conservative and he was the crazy liberal. People thought we hated each other. We're really good friends and we're not like that at all. It was all for the show, right?
Yes.
And but it just would bring out like you could see in the comments and stuff just some of the like, and you're like, bro, relax. It's just a freaking podcast. Give me a break.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I saw the other day, and this really struck a chord with me about speaking about authenticity. Which if this is my little plug, I'll throw it. If you go to our YouTube channel, there'll be some shorts in there. I do some backyard shorts where it's called Authentically Yours, and I just come up with something. I happen to be sitting there and I just record myself. And I saw an interview with Gene Simmons, the guy from Kiss, and they were asking about his political and who he voted for. And he was so raw and authentic. And excuse me, we're going PG-13. Usually Derek breaks the fourth wall, but I'm going to break it. Uh, he said, number one, who the fuck cares? It's none of your business who I vote for and who I am.
Right.
And all these other musicians and actors and everybody else needs to keep their mouth shut and go do their job. Go act, go be a musician, because nobody cares. How can you give advice to middle America from your $100 million mansion? They don't care.
Right.
So it's nobody's business. And I was just like, and I don't care who he votes for now. I'm like, I love this guy. He was like, that's being authentic, you know?
Yeah.
In your coaching, I was building to that. How do you walk into a client, whether it's a corporation, or do you do corporations? Do you work more one-on-one, or do you executives?
I like doing one-on-one. I really enjoy doing startups and solopreneurs who are just starting out because I find that they're the ones that need the greatest amount of help, and they're also overwhelmed because they don't know what to do. They're like, where do I start? So that's my preference. I do speaking for some business chambers, local business chambers and things like that. But I love the entrepreneur, the solopreneur.
Well, that's good because you have one with us. Derek's an entrepreneur, and he needs a lot of help. But that's
So
just
you've
a
been doing
mental
this
thing.
like for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Interesting. You kind of made the move, in the COVID era. How do you feel that doing this so long, and now look at the last 6 years, your life has changed dramatically, right? The globe has changed dramatically. You can't really, coming from the areas we've come from, having discussions with people, not just politics, but differences in general has become such a real touchy or sensitive thing to just have discourse with people. How do you feel when you talk about expert authority, right? And authenticity, how do you feel that's really shaped what you do recently? Has that added another dimension? Like, because I feel like too, beyond being authentic, now people want to connect with someone who maybe has viewpoints, but isn't like a complete jackass to other people about having viewpoints, or
Right.
saying that you can't be anything but what I am. How do you feel like that's evolved? Like, do you feel like there's been another dimension since then? Is that a weird question?
Yeah, no, since COVID
Thanks.
happened, there was a huge renaissance of people going, oh, I'm underemployed now, or I'm unemployed because of this pandemic, epidemic, whatever. And we're always just, like a couple paychecks away, right? They say that you're a couple paychecks away from not being in a great space. So COVID kind of forced people to think outside the box and go, you know what? I need to start planning. I need to not just rely on this system of working for somebody. The days of us working for a company for 20, 25 years and retiring with a gold watch and a magical pension, those are gone. Those days are gone.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we need to be very creative. And the great thing about, and the thing too that I miss a bit about America is Americanism is it's not just a patriotic thing. It's this hopeful, it's this concept that when you're little too, you're told you can do anything. You can create anything. you just need the imagination. You do need to work hard on this, that, but you can do anything. That is Americanism to me. And it doesn't matter where you come from. If you come from another country and you're into America, our grandparents came like on a boat with no money, and then they build a whole business and all of that stuff, right? So we have that mentality. But with COVID, it was like we all had to start thinking a little bit, okay, let me see. And there was an explosion of small business owners, entrepreneurs starting their own thing, their own coaching, their own consulting, their whatever they could come up with. Some people became, podcasters. That was my bread and butter during that time. I trained. I helped create a lot of podcasts for businesses during that time because
But do
everybody
you
had
feel
time on their
someone's
hands.
brand now has been easier to lock in and connect with people since people are so used to not being connected, or has it been more of a challenge? Or does
It
that
depends.
question kind of not make any sense?
No, it depends on the person. And also what I find the big issue is that a lot of times people in business, they don't have the foundation built, right? They're already inviting people into the bit, like come into my world, pay me for my services, but they haven't built the foundation. They're not clear. You could go to somebody's website and go, I don't know what is it that you do?
Exactly, right? Like,
What is it
where's your
that you
value, right?
Right. And
Right.
so you have to have this mantra, and I'll work with my clients. I go, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to have your name and we're going to have your title. Your title is what, if you're a business coach, great, but let's get you something better than a business coach. I'm really a glorified business coach, but I didn't want to be called a business coach. So I came up with the expert authority coach. I trademarked that puppy because when you have that little TM next to your title,
did you do that in the
tells
U? Is
people
that a worldwide thing, or is that just a US thing?
it's a worldwide thing, babe.
Because the rest of the world is different. As you know, that in the U.S. when you register a trademark, that's cool, but you always have the right of first usage, and the rest of the world isn't like that.
Well,
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
more, yeah, but it's also
I
more
think it's more
about,
important globally, isn't it?
I think what it is, it's sort of like having a doctor in front of your name. It lends your credibility, so people know that you're a professional, enough that you sought out to trademark a saying, a statement, a signature program type thing.
You are
But
very
that's like
intimidated on paper and very personal in person, so I appreciate that. I
good.
love that. You look like
We want
you're
to
such a paper
have that.
badass.
You want to have that. You want to have something that stands out a bit, but then you also want to have a mantra. And like with you, I mean, with both of you, you can have your own mantra. Your mantra is that statement, right? That motto, that statement that is easy for you to say. So when you're at a party and somebody says, "Hey, so what do you do?" You can just go boo 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 boo, and it's super easy.
I just stare and look at him cross-eyed. So, I mean, that usually works. Like, I get them laughing, and then I just convince them I'm a comedian, and by the end of the night, they forget. So that's great. But listen though, like, you're talking to us, but at one time you've spoken with Ed Asner.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So, I
Ed.
mean, I think it's easier. I think you're just cooler, and you know that. Like, I mean,
No,
for you
it's
to
'cause
say that,
it's from being in Los Angeles my whole
she
life. You have to bump into somebody famous.
Well, and
she's interviewed
well, hold on.
Santa.
And I mean, top it off. Look, she's got a cooler haircut than both of us. All right.
Clearly,
I mean, I'm
I
just
wasn't
looking
going
at
to
that
state the
blonde hair.
obvious.
I mean, I miss my blonde hair. All right. So,
You
but
don't have
yeah,
hair.
exactly. That's why I miss it.
You would have loved Ed. I was a little nervous when he would come on the radio because we have FCC guidelines, and I would be hosting a show and I'd have him on. And as soon as he sat down, I'd be looking at our technical guy on the other side of the glass. And I'd be like, have your finger on that button, have your finger on that. It's a bleeper button. Have it on there.
Yep.
And I would
get
always
the dump button
go,
ready.
Careful.
I would always tell Ed, I go, before we, like during the break.
Was this before the delay?
We have the delay, but it didn't matter.
No, you have to have a dump button. Every radio station has a dump button.
We had it, but with him, it didn't matter. And I'd say, please, Ed, remember, no swearing, no bad words, okay? And he'd go, right, kiddo. And as soon as I said, so, Ed Asner, welcome to the show. And he'd go, how the fuck are you, Christine? And then he would do another he would do another fucking he sounded like a sailor. He would start dropping them. And when you're dropping them that fast, you can't do the delay that fast.
You know what
So
I
yeah.
think is cool too about you is that like you are so diverse. Like
Hmm.
you don't come off as any one thing, like any like you come off as you're capable of molding people because you don't just pertain to one person. Like I mean, I'm looking at the people you've interviewed, the things you've done, you know, where you live, all these crazy things, and it's pretty I think it's pretty cool to people. I mean, you produced the Roseanne Barr radio show. You've interviewed some of the
That
biggest
aged me.
names. Yeah,
That aged
I
me.
would imagine so, because well, at least you aren't still doing it. You'd probably be dead, but she could age you pretty fast. But I don't know.
I
I
used
just
to say
I think it's
whenever
pretty impressive.
Was Roseanne tough to work with?
I would say whenever I had a challenge or, like if I was trying out for something, I would say if I can produce Roseanne Barr, I can do anything. And people would be like, take my money, please. Yeah, you're right.
Does
Yeah,
that
no,
mean you
it's
have to have like a serious backbone? I mean, is she pretty like all the only thing I see these days is once in a while she'll go on like comedy stuff like on Kill Tony, you know, in Austin and she's just
she's on
like
the internet. She's on TikTok and sometimes
she's
she
scary.
starts talking and I don't understand where she's going and um
Exactly.
this is a very talented woman, right? And from comedy, when it comes to comedy, this is like one of the originals, right? Who, if you study Roseanne's stand up, it was brilliant. And then she had her own television show, which was also really brilliant the way that they tackled all these different issues. And it was really playing to the common, not common denominator, but to the common American, right? It
Hmm.
wasn't the Huxtables living like, it wasn't Dynasty. It was just your average, everyday, working hard, middle class family. Just,
Right,
dealing with
right.
life, dealing with taxes, dealing with, all of that. So it was quite revolutionary. When I worked with her, we had an hour radio show, and I looked up to Roseanne as very much. I think she's brilliant. She's also got the same astrological situation that I have. I have 5 planets in Scorpio. She has 5 planets in Scorpio. So we were like, we got each other. Like, girl, I got you. I got you. The problem was that when it came time for her to be on air, sometimes she wasn't there. She wasn't at the station, or sometimes she'd be at home and she'd call me. She'd go, "You do the show," and I go, "No, it's the Roseanne Barr show. You got to do the show." And she go, "Nah, I'm drinking wine,"
That's
or she'd
funny.
be, she'd be, yeah. So you just never know. With that was the stressful part. It was not
You know,
knowing if
it's
she was going to show up or not. Yeah.
it's funny. I saw her getting interviewed the other day, and she was going off about some. It was I don't remember, but it was one of those conspiracy theories, and maybe the Earth was flat, or she was talking about aliens. I don't remember what she was talking about. And I'm listening to her, and she's so convinced, and she's so bold. And then I see a commercial for her ex-husband, Tom Arnold, who is just a crazy wackadoo. I mean, I love him. He's hilarious. I think he's some of his zingers. It's just the way he talks, the way he comes off is hilarious. But he's now on the Angel Network, and everybody's saying he's totally changed his whole life around. And I'm like, did he wake up one day and go, "Oh crap, I was married to Roseanne. I got to fix something. I'm in trouble somewhere." But I don't know. I was just like, I just found that hilarious. And he's actually on a website that I'm on, which is Podstars. And I mean, if I wanted to have him on the show, I could get him on the show. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd be scared to interview the guy because he is that crazy. But then maybe I'm like, maybe I'd get
It
along with him, you
It'd be
know?
great. You'd get some great outtakes. You'd get some great
Yeah.
B-roll. Why
I would
not?
probably
Ugh.
just ask him everything about Trailer Park Boys, to be honest with you.
Get him on the
That was
show.
the
Why
frickin'
not?
best.
We should.
So, Christine, what made you? Because you've been doing this from, I'm just reading, but you've been doing this for forever, and now you leave broadcasting and you move to Australia, which is insane. Not in a bad way. I think it's cool. And then over a little over a year ago, you brand yourself like super hardcore expert authority coach. Like what was the kicker? Like what was the trigger of that for you? Like what made you say I got to take this a step further?
I finally listened to my own advice, which we tend to not
It
do
only took you
as
what, 20, 25 years?
yeah, tend to not do. You know, for 10 years I had
True.
my own podcast. My podcast was called Out of the Box with Christine. It was 10 years. 10 years, hundreds of people I've interviewed, and it was all focusing on them and their books and their things. And one day I went, "Oh my God, I need to I need to use my brand and my branding. First of all, incorporate my brand into the podcast name. So now it's the Expert Authority Coach podcast. Okay, that's clever. And also bring guests on that are going to back up my philosophy and my belief and my coaching strategies that I work with people, right? So we've reformulated that. But it came a point where I needed to stand out. And again, saying I was a business coach was, there's
Right.
like a gazillion of
Right.
them.
So many of them.
Saying I was a media coach, people would be too afraid of that. They're like,
What's
"Ooh,
that?
I don't even know what that does, who that is." So with the Expert Authority Coach, I was able to take all those things that I do, and instead of being confusing and saying, "Oh, I do this, I do that, I do help you with your podcast, I help you get a best-selling book, I can get you booked on shows." Instead of doing all of that, I just put it under the umbrella of Expert Authority Coach. Once they come into my world, then I can say, "Here's how I can help you." It all depends on the person. Some people are not podcast worthy. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I agree. 100%. And let me tell you,
Was that the guy who put the
speaking,
camera down to smoke a cigarette during the middle of the
dude, that
show?
was, oh my gosh, that was the most ridiculous thing. The guy took his
No,
phone
no, we
outside
don't
to
need to tell
finish.
the story.
Man, to have
He
a
just
smoke.
wasn't podcast worthy. It's okay.
I'm like, bro, and he was so boring. But and it's funny because I'm I'm loving our conversation, and I'm going to say this way early. I want to have you back on the show where we have a lot
Oh,
more
thank you.
time.
You got
Yeah,
it.
I think we'd have a blast. To me, and I'm not asking for advice or anything like that. I'm just letting you know I'm at that crossroads that you probably were at. I've been in sales all my life. I'm a top sales guy, and I look out there and there's a bazillion sales coaches. Everybody knows how to frickin' sell. All right. And you know what? As a sales guy, we hate sales coaches because those are the people who can't sell. They just tell you how to do it, right?
Right.
Some teach, some do it. I do it, okay? And then I was in radio. That's what I went to school for. I was a broadcast. I was an on-air personality here in Orlando, and I do voice work. I do voiceovers, all that fun stuff. The downside is AI is taking it over, and the one of the things I promised myself I will never sell my voice to AI because once you do, you're done. You'll never be able to use yourself again. And it sucks I don't have my microphone because I can really get deep if I need to. I can change. I could do so many fun things with my voice. But I'm at that crossroad, and I was talking to a guy we had on who's a coach also, a mentor. And I said, this is where I'm at. And then I actually was telling him about my, my little shorts that I do called Authentically Yours. And it's people make fun of me because I always say, and as usual, it's authentically yours. I'm Zach. I got your back, and they're like, oh, whatever. You're hilarious. But it sticks with it, right? You're telling me this. And now I'm like, good Lord. I got to start listening to my own advice. I got to start doing what I got to do, and that's not worry about what anybody else tells me I got to be a coach in, and
Yeah.
just be a coach in what I'm good at. Because
Yeah.
a lot of like my podcast coach, because everybody, I'm a firm believer. I know Derek doesn't like coaches. I'm going to throw him under the bus. I have my CDL, Derek. I can run you over. I believe if you're going to go to the Olympics, if you're going to go to the major leagues, you have to have a coach, right?
Yeah.
So I got a podcast coach.
I
Derek
mean, I
can
think you said
probably
that
tell you.
incorrectly. It's not the hate of coaches, it's the hate of inaction. And people use coaches as a crutch to not take action. I hate that. That's what I hate.
Okay. All right. He does.
I hate the
listen to him.
crutch. Because a
I'm gonna edit
coach
this
is not
part.
a crutch to take action. It's a coach is to encourage a plan of action.
I'm
And
gonna edit
action is
that
for
out
yours to
because
take.
I'm gonna edit that out so Derek can be the bad guy. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I got a podcast coach. I went to we talk about this all the time. The reason I got into it because someone asked me why did I get into podcasting? I said same reason I got into radio. I said, I go, do you want the truth or do you want the story? And they're like, both. I said, well, the story is I like people to, I like to help people. I like to reach out and, maybe get someone around the corner, help them with whatever. They go, all right, what's the truth? I go, I'd like to hear my own voice. I like to talk. I got an ego. I don't care. I have no qualms about it. And I think with what you did and you gave yourself your own advice, that's just, you just, the light bulb. If I had I'd hold a light bulb over my head right now because it just ding dinged right there. Because that's just, if you can get in and reach somebody and teach them their authority and to be authentic, because nobody likes a BS. I could baffle
Yep.
you with BS all day long, but in the
Yep.
end, when it comes down to the nuts and bolts, it's still just BS, right? So
Yeah.
if you, and I'm going to use Derek as an example. Derek has a phenomenal business. He owns the number one tint shop in, I would say, Central Florida. I dare to say Florida. And he says and I know his product because I've used it. I've had what, 6 cars done there? I don't know how many cars I've had done there, but I've had a bunch of work done there. I won't go anywhere else because Derek stands behind his product. He knows his product. He's an expert and authority. And when he speaks, he's not lying,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But I can walk into a mechanic shop and, they got a monkey in the back working on your car. And you don't know if you're getting a job done because this guy's snowballing you with, your flex capacitor's broken and you got low, blinker fluid. And I'm like, well, then fix it. What do I know about cars? I mean, obviously I'm joking. I know about cars, but you know what I'm saying? So if you can get someone to be an expert, and correct me if I'm wrong or whatever, if you can get someone to be an authority and be authentic in their expertise, then in all reality, they're just being truthful and people trust truth.
Absolutely. And you can back up that expert authority, that truthfulness. You can back that up with rave reviews and testimonials and Google My Business, 5-star reviews and things like that. That's a backup. But also, I like addressing the elephant in the room. And if we know, we know there's a particular industry where people get ripped off, right? If it's with mechanics, then I would even be as bold as to say in my advertising or my marketing, just say the name of the business and say, we won't lie to you. We
You
won't
know
lie
what's
to
funny,
you.
Christine? In the last probably 3 weeks, that's literally what I've been saying on the phone is literally,
There
I go,
you
you know what the
go.
difference? I go, here's the difference between me and everybody else. One, I'm the only guy not lying to you. I'm not going to name places. I'm not going to name businesses. I'm not
No.
going to trash
Yeah.
shops. But I'd literally just look people in the eyes and I go, I'm the only guy not lying to you. And the difference is when I do lie to you, you're getting a better result than I'm telling you.
Well, don't
Everyone
say
else is
that.
giving you a lesser. And but you know what though, Christine? But you know what, Christine? It is 100% true. And because I
Mm-hmm.
know
Well,
that the belief is very high, and with the belief is high, like I've tried to talk people not to use us in person. 2 days ago, I think I said, I was like, don't go, just go to the other store. Please go to the other store and then come back. I want to test what the film is. Come on, let's do that. Don't come here. I don't want to, because they're getting it too good to be true. I go, don't come here. Don't come here. No, go there. Go where you're going to go. And literally they're like, no, I
That's
can't.
the
And I'm like,
FOMO.
okay,
That's the
fine.
fear of missing out.
But
And
you know what?
actually,
I'm
yeah.
not. But it works best when you're being genuine and authentic, and the belief is so good that I know when they go there. I know when they go there that the result in the product's going to be so bad that it'll cost more time and money to have to redo it all. It'll be, and I know that, but I want to find out. I want to show them, and they know I know that, and so a lot of the times they're like,
that's confidence.
"God, oh God, no! Don't let me leave here." And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah,
okay, that's
that's
fine.
confidence. And
I can take
confidence
you out back and
sells.
finish the job."
Confidence
Yeah.
sells.
I
Confidence
mean,
sells.
the number one thing I learned, majority of my life I was spent in the car business. And everybody thinks, all car salesmen are sleazy scumbags. And you know what? There's a lot of them, trust me. Now, obviously, in the 70s and 80s, it was the leisure suit guys. It was a totally different world. And that's the world I came from, was the late 80s, early 90s, when I got the car business in 92. But I'd been around it. My uncle owned a dealership. And I learned something from my uncle. He was the most truthful guy to the point where he wouldn't sell a car if he didn't believe it was the right deal, right? And he was also something I learned. I've never seen anyone do this. If he sold a car to a lady, when they'd come pick up their car, there was a rose on the front seat. He left them a flower. If it was a guy, he'd leave him something else. He just and that was the owner of the dealership. And I worked for many different dealerships, and there are some that I regretted working for because they were shady, and then I worked for some where they taught us to. And I had a boss. I worked for a Cadillac store 30 years ago, Pete Petrosky, and he told me, you never ever have to lie if you believe and stand behind your product.
That's right.
And if you let them know up front, I do make money. This is what I do for a living, but I'm going to give you the best deal I can. But understand, I still have to feed my family just like you go to work to earn a living to feed
Actually, the
yours.
money is to take care of them in the future, because if you didn't make money, you won't be there to handle those issues. And so that's
Well,
a
that too.
really, to me, a
Yeah, well,
very
I was never scared of profit, but
You
I
know what you
always,
said? You know what you said earlier, Christine, was very funny, when you finally took your own advice. I think as humans, we all share the same reservation of resolve. And once we're in a pattern of resolve, that's called discipline, and it happens involuntarily. But what you were saying is, you took your own advice. You always know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I'm going to wrap this back into like, oh, you don't like sales coach. No, 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 no. I don't like too much hype without the understanding of oneself that resolve is required put to make that a reality, right? You know yourself so well. You knew what you had to do, but you also like come to the realization, almost kicking and screaming, that, "Oh, I just got to do it." You still have to do it. You have to have the resolve to do it. It's like, I probably have the most knowledge about nutrition and hormones of anyone I've ever met in my life, and I'm still like 15 pounds out of shape. And it's because I don't have the desire and resolve to be that disciplined to, now that I'm getting old, not have a quality of life, not have a beer here or there. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
it's the knowledge is there, but to do it, you have to kind of kicking and screaming yourself into the resolve as well. So I don't
I
think that
think
makes you abnormal. That makes you human.
when it clicks, when things click in and you go, yeah, you're locked in. You're locked in, and then it's not work either. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's fantastic. So you have to,
Well,
I think, finding those things that you really love and enjoy, then it all makes sense. You're in flow,
True.
right?
Because you want
You're
to
in
do
flow.
it. You want to have
Yeah,
the discipline to say, yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
so when you get, I know you like working with startups, and you don't have to name any companies, but when you get a startup, how do you work with them to build the foundation to make sure that they're on solid rock versus sand?
we have a discovery call. I have to have a discovery call with every client because I need to know the particulars. Everybody's different, right? Everybody comes to the table with different knowledge base and everything. So we need to do that first. And then I'll take a look at their digital footprint just to get an idea of a taste of their vibe, of their energy, of their brand. If they've already created their brand and they are just not feeling it anymore, or if they're in the very beginning phase and they have not gotten anything done, I'll take a look at what they have. And then I will work on it's like a media kit, but it's really a media kit for their business. So we take a look at those high points, those things that are saleable to the public. And to get real clear, that's the biggest problem I find with startups and entrepreneurs is they're not clear on what they do, who they serve, and how they help. So we try to get as clear as possible. And also, we make sure that what they're offering is what people actually need and want. A lot of times we've got folks who are like, you know what, this is the stapler. I'm selling the stapler, and look, it does all these great things. And I've invested a lot of time and money in education. I've been learning a lot about the stapler. So I'm selling the stapler to anybody and everybody. And oh, it's 50% off this month. Or buy one, you get two free. The problem is that we think that the world is really into staplers, and they're not. They don't need a
Right,
stapler. Maybe they want a
right.
sandwich, Maybe they're like, okay, that's nice. That's nice that you know everything about the stapler, but that's not what I need and want. So we got to focus in on what people need and want, not just what we want to sell them. If that makes
Have
sense.
you gone through a discovery call and said, no, not
Oh yeah.
doing it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What is I don't want to
I
use the word
refuse to.
trigger. I hate that word trigger, but what is the thing that keys you into like this is not the right match?
Immediately, I'll know. I'll know immediately. It's when someone is negative, when someone says, yeah, but it's, it's saturated. The market's saturated. Yeah, but, and I had a call just a few weeks ago with someone like that. And this woman has so much potential. She's sitting on a gold mine, but she is negative about everything. The glass is half empty, right? It's
Yeah.
always, it was every single thing that I said, and I was like, oh my gosh, we could easily get you a best-selling book. It's already written. You've already got it written. We can just. Everything was like, yeah, nah, yeah, but nah. And I just said, I can't work with you. I have to have somebody that's at least willing, right, to say, okay, let me try it, or let me think about it, or yeah, let's give it a go. If you're negative on your, it's going to be a very hard road.
Yeah, so you don't like really fixing people, right? I mean, in a sense of like you
I
can't
will work with
you have
you
to
on.
start with someone with optimism and belief, right?
I have to have at least somebody that has a bit of hope.
Do you feel like if you were to did you have a negative experience where you took on someone like that and the reason why they failed was your fault in their eyes?
I don't take them on. I don't even get to that
No, but
point.
like you learn, right? Did you have to learn the hard way with that ever? Or
No,
did you
I just
just
don't.
know you came out of the womb knowing?
I am a grown ass woman, and I will not spend time.
You are the
I don't
expert.
need the money. You know, I've dealt with people before where it was pain. Like I'd be looking at my calendar and I go, in 10 minutes I have this client, and I hated it. I didn't like my life force is worth something, not just money. All of my clients right now, I love them. They're my family. They're my people, right? And I look forward to being with them. They look forward to being with me. So it's a copacetic, beautiful thing. With those people who are negative. Now, people who have imposter syndrome, that's one of my specialties. And I because we all have imposter syndrome, and I can work with that.
Huge.
And people who have big imposter syndrome, they're some of my favorite clients because I help get them. It's not like you're ever going to get fixed 100% from that. But
Everyone's an imposter at some point.
exactly. We all have those moments.
What's the
So it's just
problem?
knowing what to do when you feel it and you're like, oh, I'm going to throw up because what are people going to say about me? We just need to work on those things.
You know what's weird is that like I'll have it on some things, but like when I started my business here, I moved here like not as far as you, but Michigan to Florida. It's not super close, right? And I'd never been in the industry, and I just like opened it, and like we're like the highest volume, biggest shop, and like I never felt that way. Isn't that weird?
You never
Like I
felt.
think you know how they say like if you're nervous, like doing stand up, imagine people naked or imagine people being stupid or just know that you're not the dumbest person in the room so they can laugh.
Right.
I think that like with imposter syndrome too, if you realize that everyone around you who's a so-called pillar and expert doesn't necessarily mean they're like smarter human beings than you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean they're
Absolutely.
like they might know this business better than you, but they might not know business better than you, right? So why can't you learn it?
And don't even compare yourself to somebody else.
Yeah, it's you versus
You
you.
don't need to. You don't
You're
need
right.
to compare yourself to anybody.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
When I help clients
Right.
really with the imposter syndrome, I say, listen, honey, it's not about you. It's not about you. And they go, what do you mean it's not about me? Of course it's about me. I'm being asked to speak to these people and they're going to be judging me and they're going to be wondering, I said, no. It's about the people that you claim you want to help, the people you want to serve. If
I
you're
think
in
that's
the
such a good
business
point.
to help people, let's say you're a fitness coach and you claim that you want to help people be healthier and live longer, happier lives. Well, you need to focus on them. And if you don't show up because you're scared that people are going to make fun of you, then they're not going to get the help that they need. As a matter of fact, they might go to somebody else and get injured or,
You're doing them a disservice
exactly.
by not having that
Well,
belief.
and
That's
I
funny. That is hilarious. That's crazy. Like that's such good insight because now I'm thinking back 4 years and I'm like, yeah, I didn't think or pay attention to anyone else competitor wise. It was just how can we be the best at what we're going to do and then learn from every mistake we make and not be afraid to make the mistakes, but control them and just constantly get better. And it's like now you look back and you're like, oh, we know so much more and we're so much better than everyone around us. Not in a derogatory way, but it's like
No.
just because we didn't like we never took the blinders. We didn't take the blinders off for a long time. And then when we did, we looked around, but we still kept the one eye forward, just to observe, but we never followed anything anyone else did.
Mistakes are the
We just paid
steps.
attention. We paid attention,
Mistakes
but we
are the
didn't follow.
Yeah, mistakes are the
Yeah,
steps in the stairway to success.
for sure.
I
Mistakes are
think,
not mistakes, really, but they help you.
I also think the biggest thing with imposter syndrome is who you surround yourself with, because a lot of those people can black you out and get in your head. And look, I mean, like I said,
Mhm.
I've been in sales forever. I wanted to get into podcasting. I wanted to start doing voice work, and I'd like to get into coaching and speaking, right? And I have a friend, he's Negative Nelly. I've known him since we were little kids, and he's been the same way. And he really, when I was telling him, he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got a you got a great voice. You could do that stuff, but speaking, he's like, who the frick's gonna listen to you?" I mean, like, I'm like, what? He goes, what are you an authority on? I go, well, what are you an authority
Wow.
on? And
Dude.
then I get defensive. Then I'll,
He'll be the
but
first guy to buy the ticket, like when he's doing a stadium show.
but
Yeah.
I
I'm
knew that
like,
guy. I used to know that guy. I used to know that guy.
Yeah.
that's my boy. Right now, he's my biggest fan. No, but there's a lot of times though, people, and I go back to this in a lot of my shows. My mom was a school teacher. My dad was a school teacher. When they adopted me, my mom decided to become a stay-home mom, and so she didn't want to lose her income. So she got this little business known as Amway. She became very successful at it. My mom actually sold soap door to door. I mean, she was old school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to every friggin' rah-rah meeting they ever had. I've been to all of them. I've met Zig Ziglar. I've met, all these guys. I've had to read Dale Carnegie. I've had to write reports on it because that's what my mom would do to me when I got in trouble, and I was always in trouble. And looking back, as I say, when I was a kid, I thought I was in hell, but literally, that was the best thing my mom could have ever have done, right? But I have that mentality, right? I don't allow the naysayers to get into my head. But there's somebody starting off a brand new business with widgets and gadgets, which this lady you're saying could actually explode. But imagine if her mind's not in the mindset because of her friend telling her, you suck. So why would you think you could do that? Then you just blacked yourself out, and then now all of a sudden you're got imposter syndrome or whatever.
Yeah, you
And
just made
I
them correct. It's your
yeah,
choice to
yeah.
make. It's your choice of who you want to be
So
correct
if you
about
get
Yeah.
yourself.
somebody like that, can you realize by talking to them, okay, it's a mindset thing I have to correct because someone's effed with their head too much, or it's actually they're just messed up in the head. Can you figure that out pretty quickly?
Yeah, it's after a bit of a conversation with them, I can usually deduce that and kind of figure it out. If it's something where it's from the outside, usually if it's something that was from the outside, and it's recent, then it's relatively easy to approach that. It's when you have these things from as a child, you were told you're
Yeah.
stupid, nobody cares about you, you're never going to amount to anything, and it doesn't have to be just the parent. If it's a parent, it's really hard. But if it's someone of authority, so if it's a teacher, if it's a religious leader or somebody that, give a lot of credence to, then it can have a huge impact on you, more so than even just a kid on the playground, but
Right.
I mean,
kids
at
on the
that point,
Yeah,
playground
it's
can
almost
yeah. I
like.
impact
mean,
you. Yeah.
I mean, at that point, it's almost like
everybody
you're going
deals
to
with
refer
bullies.
to. She's going to refer to like Dr. Shad Helmstetter, like self-talk. I mean, at that point, you need you need to be reprogrammed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can take a lot of
Yeah.
time.
I mean, but look, I mean, and I hate to say it, if somebody sees you with a great idea or starts to seeing you're becoming successful, instantly they're going to turn on you. Now, I'm lucky because I try and surround myself friends. I surround myself with eagles because I fly. But nobody does. If you don't know the difference between an eagle and a turkey, you gotta learn that, right? And I'm sure you run into people that are surrounded by turkeys all the time,
I mean,
and
Well,
only
they're
and
trying to
eagles
I
can
become an
flap
tell
eagle.
wings.
people, you don't have to tell people everything. You don't need
Right.
to tell them, I've been working on my 6th book, right? I've been working on that. And a lot of my friends and family don't know. They don't know
They
because
will
I
now that
need
they see the show.
well, now they will, yes. But it's like it's because that's my baby, and when I'm ready to deliver my baby into the world, when I'm able to ready to publish it and put it out there, then I'll put it out there. But a lot of times we don't need to tell people, I'm really nervous about speaking in front of all these people. I don't know. What do you think? You're opening yourself up. Either they're going to say, yes, you can do it, or who are you to say something like that,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Or to do
allowing
something
them
like
to. You're allowing them to be your affirmation,
Yeah.
or it's like,
Yeah.
why would you do that? Let yourself be that.
So
Exactly.
I
It's like,
learned
go
this.
write the book and then show them the 6x Amazon best-selling
Show
author
them the
when it's
bestseller
finished.
thing. Go, that's right.
There you go.
They, oh, by the way, here's this book. They're like, you did that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know you got
That's what I was
limited
doing.
time. So I want to make sure
Yeah.
you
yeah.
get to
Just,
promote yourself as much as possible. How much time do you
Thank
have
you.
left? I just want to make sure we're within
I've
time.
got another. I've got another. I need to be out at the 15 mark, so I got another 6 minutes.
Let's do the
My math
self
is
promo
bad.
wrap up type of
Yeah.
rapid fire for her
But I
time.
just want to say this real quick. What I have learned, and maybe someone can learn it too, okay? Because I can get in my own head. Us sales guys, we can black ourselves out pretty quickly. If someone asks me to do something, like recently I was asked to be a speaker at a function that I'm part of, before I could even think, I just said yes. Because if I had thought about it, I'd been like, nah, I'm all right. I'm good. Like I went like when we did the Podfest, they wanted me to do a 3-minute comedy set because they thought I was hilarious. I thought about it and I blacked myself out and I couldn't do it. So I've taught myself now,
Say yes. Mm-hmm.
just say yes. And then you
Yes.
go, oh, what the heck did I just do? But anyway, just a couple quick questions, and then I want you to promote the snot out of yourself.
Sure.
Do you prefer coaching or do you like speaking in large groups? Or do you take both of them as they're both your golden goose?
I love being in front of a live audience. I do enjoy that. The energy is so different. But I really like the magic of that one-on-one or small group coaching, right? Small group coaching or that one-on-one. I really love that because I love to see the trajectory. I have a gentleman here in Australia he specializes in antiquarian books, right? Old books. And they are actually on fishing, on the whole world of fish and fishing. And so it's very niche. It's a very specific thing. But to see him grow in the month and a half that I've been working with him, to see him grow. Now he's doing videos where he's looking so comfortable and confident, and before he looked like a deer in headlights and he had to read every single line like this, and it was and also to show him that we want to make it easy for people to pay us. We want to make it easy for people to book time with us. We want to make it easy for people to come into our world. And so by showing him certain things and teaching him certain things, to see him grow in such a short amount of time, that's the best feeling in the world. And
Awesome.
that is the ripple effect of that is going to be very powerful, right? So that's my favorite thing, is to see people really transform.
Well, I didn't throw a curveball in there. How about when you write a book? Do you enjoy writing books?
Yeah, here's the funny thing. I'm not a writer. I have 5 bestsellers right now. I am a talker. I'm not a writer. So the way I publish my book, the way I create them, put them together, is I take all my video content, my speaking engagements, my webinars, my workshops, my master classes. I take the things that I say and I convert them into chapters in books. And so the next book is the big one, and that's the
Cool.
Expert Authority Code. That's coming out soon, and that one
Yeah,
I'm
because
very
why would you
excited.
want to reinvent everything you've already stated that you believe and thought about? You know what I'm saying? It's like that
Exactly.
you can't
It's
retell the story better. It's like when someone asks you to tell the Joker story and it's like, nah, it's lost. Like the mantra's gone.
it's
You
always
already put it out there.
you are
Are all
sitting.
your
Everybody's
books
sitting on a bestseller. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody is sitting on a best-selling book.
are all your yeah? I could write a book then. I'd be a bestseller. All right.
We'll
Yeah,
just
Good.
yeah.
dissect the show. That's cool.
Yeah. Are you Are all your books on Amazon?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so the best place to get your books are on Amazon.
You can go to Amazon or you can go to my website. There's a page that has all of my books on there, and that's expertauthoritycoach.com. Or if you go on Amazon, just look up my name, Christine Blosdale. People, if they don't know how to spell Blosdale, there's no Z involved. It's Blosdale. And they've got all my books there and audiobooks. That's the other thing. The great thing about being an author is that you can create an audiobook. And you, sir, have a great voice. You both have great voices. So you could do an audiobook and make some extra cash. Why not?
Yeah, yeah, perfect. I got to learn how to read first, but
That's all right.
It's funny you say you're not a writer. I'm the same way. My wife's an English teacher, so when I write, I actually write how I talk, and then she goes in and corrects it because she's like, That's not proper. Stop it." But that's how I write. But anyway, so what do you have coming up? What do you need to promote? Everybody can find you on your website. Everybody can find you
Yeah.
at Amazon. I'm sure you got a YouTube channel and you have a podcast. Are you on all the medias for that?
I'm on all the medias for that, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And I highly recommend if they feel that pull, and that pull is your subconscious, conscious mind saying, I need to explore this. I need to talk to this lady. Please do book a free consultation with me. You can do it at my website. There's buttons all over the place that say book your free call, and that's expertauthoritycoach.com. If you want to go right into my calendar and book a time slot with me, you can go to chatwithchristineb.com. But really, don't sit on it. Don't say one day, one day, one day. You want to take action. That's the most important thing. And I think Derek was talking about that too. You need to take action. Don't just listen to tapes and watch courses, and I call it shelf help. Don't just get all that information and sit on it. Make sure you take action, whatever it is, you take action on it. And I thank you both for having me on the show today. I had a blast.
No, thank you. And I know we got to cut it short because you got another appointment, but we're gonna have you back on. One of my dreams is I've got a roundtable coming up for sales guys, and then I want to do a roundtable coming up with coaches, and I'd love to have you on that where you guys
That'd
could
be
just
great.
spit fire.
That would be
Yeah,
fun.
but this was a fun show. It was a great show. I think it resonates with everybody who watches our show. If anybody wants to find her, she's all over the World Wide Web. Are your videos on YouTube? Is it your podcast, or do you just do audio podcasts?
No, there's podcast episodes on there. And if they want to see the funnier side of me or the silly, goofy side, they can follow me on TikTok. I'm a TikTok freak.
Okay.
I love TikTok.
Perfect.
I'm very much addicted to the platform.
Christine, thank you so very much for being a guest. We love having you.
Thank you.
And for everybody out there, thank you for watching. As you know, you can find us on all the socials. It's No Brainer Show on everything except for YouTube. We're No Brainer Shows with an S because somebody else has it and I'm going to steal it from them. And then if you don't like looking at my beautiful face, you don't have to watch us live. You can go and check us out on all the audio sites. We're on Apple, Spotify, yada, yada, yada. So check us out on the World Wide Web. And until next time, guys, you be blessed. You keep being rock stars. Peace.
Peace.